Shutt.
My hair, all right.
You're fine. All right. I'm Stephanie Timbes, and I am with the Premier West Start class, and I have our City Mayor, Bob Shutt, with us, and he is going to describe some of the changes that he's experienced in our community.
The good changes.
The good changes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, I can give you a little history on Savannah because I've been here so long, but when I took office in 1999, I had these thoughts in my mind of what we could do to make Savannah one of the top cities in West Tennessee. I had gone around to other communities, and every community is unique in what they've got, and every community promotes what they have and what they want to have. We were at a standstill as far as development goes, and I looked around. I said to myself, we're not going to get a Toyota plant. We're not going to get a Nissan plant. We're not going to get anything big like that. But Savannah has buku of natural resources. We have the river, we have Pickwick Lake, and we have Shiloh. So at that point I said, why don't we focus on tourism? Because tourism could become our biggest industry. Now, in 1999, when you told people of Savannah that you were going to focus on tourism, they thought you were crazy. Because if it didn't have a brick and mortar, they didn't consider it industrial recruitment or industrial development. But tourism dollars actually spend as well or better than industrial dollars. So I started working on tourism. We had to upgrade some things that we had. We had never promoted the river, Shiloh, or Pickwick. We had just always sat here and let everybody come to Pickwick, and if they drifted into Savannah, that was a good thing. If they didn't, we didn't worry about it. But we had to build a retail base. That's when we recruited some of the big box stores like Lowe's. We already had the Walmart Supercenter, which was great. We recruited the Walgreens and the CVS's and those type businesses, so we looked bigger than we were, because people think if you've got these big box stores, then you're a hit. You're doing something right, which, we were losing a lot of people to Corinth and to Florence, Alabama, that go to Lowe's. Well, when they go to Lowe's, they get something else, or they'll spend more money up there. We wanted them to come here and spend their money. So we did our first ever TIF grant, tax incentive financing, and it worked great. We set it up for 17 years for Lowe's to actually pay off their debt. I think they paid it off in 13 years. But one thing we looked at, Lowe's, we were collecting about $2,600 a year on property tax from that land that Lowe's built on. The first year Lowe's was here, their gross sales was $30 million, which in turn created $750,000 worth of sales tax, which we got half. So we traded $2,600 for $375,000 in sales tax. So to me, that was a no-brainer. And that's the reason we did the TIF district. But once we built our retail base, where we had people coming here to actually do shopping, then you increase your traffic. Then we joined the Main Street program, which brought you into the fold. But the Main Street program to me was very, very much needed, because, well, you can look now how many facade grants we've gotten through the Main Street program. And those facade grants have, I guess we've gotten 4 or 5 buildings downtown that
have been awarded.
Yeah,
We've
and
had about 4 or 5.
They're 90-10 grants. Well, if the state or whoever wants to give us $100,000 and they give us 90 of it and we contribute 10, I'm gonna go for those every day. Because you got a 90-10 set up, it's great. And we've been able to remodel the facades on these buildings, keeping them like they were, you know, historically, but making the buildings look new and better. And it just makes I'm a big advocate of downtown. The reason being, you can go to 100 communities. Huh? That's great. I never get a phone call. Anyway, you can go to 100 communities. Can we cut that out?
Yeah, I can cut it out.
You can go to 100 different communities and you can see the same Lowe's, the same Walmart, the same Walgreens, the same CVS. But when you go to their downtown area, that's what you're going to remember, because the downtown area is the focal point of your community. So I always want the main street and the downtown to look good. I want it to be the focal point of our community. And we've spent a lot of time and we've spent a lot of money promoting our downtown. Moving on, as far as tourism, we've been on the river ever since we existed, but we've never really used it and promoted it. And we have worked, I guess, different angles to try to promote what we do have. You know, we have 600, 700,000 people a year that go to Shiloh. If we get 10% of those people to come into Savannah, that's 60 or 70,000 people. They're going to spend money. We were fortunate enough to have a contract with this American Cruise Line, which this year we got 28 stops.
Yes, we are going all the way from May to early November with stops. Yes.
Well, supposedly, according to the Tourism State Department, those boats, the people on those boats will spend an average of $21,000 a day when they're here. Well, if they just come one day, spend the night, and leave, that's $21,000 that we didn't have. Okay, so everything works. Now, my baby, as you called it one time, is our Christmas on Main program. And it was funny, I was going through a town just a little west of here one day around Christmas, and I noticed that every business had a Christmas tree in front of it that they had decorated. And I thought, you know, that's pretty neat. We need to come up with something that Savannah can do that will make it stand out during the holidays. Well, I can remember when I was smaller, they had a promotion one Christmas where they were giving away a car at the downtown at the courthouse. And they were going to do it on Christmas Eve. And the town probably had a minimum of 5,000 people downtown just for that drawing. And I thought, I'd like to draw that many people downtown again, not just because it gets everybody together. So I came back and started talking to some friends about maybe doing some kind of Christmas event. And one of the ladies came up with Christmas on Main, and she took it and got a committee, and they developed Christmas on Main. I didn't do it, they did it, but it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
It is.
We started in October putting lights up, and we're finished by
before.
Yeah. We finish middle of November?
It's normally the weekend before Thanksgiving, and then the guys have a break, and then we start moving all of our other, like our elf house and our Santa house get moved the week of.
Yes. So what we do is we turn just the downtown area into a little Hallmark set. And we've had people from all over the Southeast.
Let's see, Texas, Louisiana, Georgia, Arkansas, Missouri. We've had them all over.
It has been a tremendous success. And it's something that the people of Savannah and Hardin County did. I mean, they are the ones that make it happen. We couldn't do it without the city of Savannah, because the city of Savannah has the labor that puts everything together. And it takes us 45 days to get it all up the way we want it. And then, you know, they've asked me before, you know, they'll finish the lights 2 weeks before Thanksgiving or a week before Thanksgiving. And they'll say, when do you want us to turn the lights on? Turn them on today. Because when you turn those Christmas lights on and it lights up our town, it puts everybody in a better mood.
It does.
They're not near as complaining as some of them usually are. It's just, it gives a festive added atmosphere that people enjoy. And we even leave them up, this last year we left it up through January.
We did.
But it hurts nothing. It just makes everybody feel better. And you wouldn't believe how many people say, I just have to drive through town just to see the lights.
Yeah.
That lets you know that you've done something right.
Well, it also helps our retail stores.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. A bunch of our small businesses down there have triple the sales when we have Christmas on Main, so that kind of adds into our tourism dollars too.
Well, you look at the sales tax in December, and it just
skyrockets.
You have a nice jump in it. But I've always said you have to give people something they can see for their tax dollars. You know, they don't see sewer lines and water lines and things that you have to spend money on. So you try to give them something that they can see. That's where I got Tennessee Street Park, because we were fortunate enough to obtain the land. And, you know, I wanted to build something that everybody could enjoy. And there's something in Tennessee Street Park for everybody. And I noticed today that we had, when you make the list of school field trips, you know it's successful. And I looked today and there were 3 buses from another county that brought their children over here for their field day. And, you know, to some people, and don't think a lot of this didn't come without criticism, because a lot of people were naysayers. They would say, oh, we don't need that. It's just going to be a hangout for undesirables and this. And I said, let me tell you, we're going to make that one of the best things Savannah's ever had, because, and we have, that park to some kids is Disney World, because they'll never get to go to Disney World. But we're giving them something that they don't have. And the splash pads, you know, that's just like something they've dreamed of, because most kids in Hardin County don't have a swimming pool or access to a swimming pool. And that was just an added addition to the park that's really made it something that it's a spectacle, really.
It's a top tier park in our surrounding area.
It is.
It is.
And that's one thing I said, you got to give them something, but you got to make it look good. You got to have a top class structure if you're going to have it. And I think we did that. It's first class, which is good. Now, if you can tell, or these people listening to this can tell, I love this community.
You do.
You know, I've been here a long time, and I've seen the progress, and I've seen how it changes people's attitudes. And as we were talking earlier, we have plans that will cover the next 10 years for projects that we're going to do. And now we're looking 10 and 20 years down the road, because you either progress or you drive on the vine. And we're going to be progressive as long as I have a say-so in it.
So what is an accomplishment? Like, what do you have a set goal of what you want to see accomplished in the community?
There's so much. I can't. Right now, we're working on a marina, which Savannah should have had years and years ago. It's like owning a nice home on the river or on the lake, but not having access to it. People can't come to see if they don't have access. So we've got a $30 million project right now that we're working on to build a marina, hotel, everything around. We want to develop the whole south side of the bridge. And I think once we do that, it'll be the biggest revenue producer that Savannah's ever had. And we need that.
We do.
We need to give people a stopping point on the river. And we're working towards that. We've been working on it now for about 6 years. I had no idea it would take that long. But when you deal with governmental agencies, they don't get in any hurry.
No.
So we're gonna get that done. And it's gonna be a big, big attraction to Savannah.
It'll be a good thing for Christmas on Main.
Yes.
Riverfest, we have somewhere for them to stay in Savannah without
Yes.
having to go to other hotels.
And that's another thing, you mentioned Riverfest, which is becoming a big event.
Yes.
It's a revival of the old Catfish Derby.
Yes.
Which, when I was younger, the Catfish Derby was a big, big event. And then it sort of died out. Well, we're bringing it back.
We're progressing.
And you could probably tell me this, how many events do we have downtown a year?
Oh, let's see. We have one for each season as
Yep.
of right now. So we just did the World War II event.
Yes.
We have Bluegrass Festival, we'll have Riverfest, and then we have our huge Christmas on Main. And then
Yes.
we also have our smaller events, like Music on Main. We have movies in the park. We did a downtown shopping event a couple of weeks ago from 5 to 7, and the stores saw a huge increase in revenue. I had one store that said that they had only done about $1,300 between 10 a.m. that morning and 5 p.m., and they crossed over the $3,000 threshold within those 2 hours. So
Yes, and that's, cities, municipalities thrive on sales tax. That's what makes us go. And that's why we have to have these events. We have to bring people in here to spend money. And I was looking at our sales tax revenue the other day. From 2018 until 2023, our sales tax revenue has increased $10 million.
good.
Now that's from having events that bring people in here, and that's what we function off of, sales tax. So we're doing something right.
We're not just a
sure
retirement community
it's
anymore.
not just a retirement community, no. We do have a lot of people move in here, but I tell them it's because it's God's country, and they all want to be here.
Yes,
But it all works hand in hand,
it does.
and you've got to have cooperation between city, county, and we do. We do not have. I think after we had a couple of projects that we completed, a lot of the naysayers just went underground. And we don't see them much anymore, because they're the first ones there when you want to cut the ribbon. And I think they figured out that we're not kidding, we're going to get it done.
Yep,
And it works.
it does.
What else?
That's it. We're going